Gakko no jikan!
Hey guys, it's ShanChan and today we're making part 2 of the particle video. Before we get started, check out my awesome domo shirt. Gotta love it. So let's dive right into our lesson here. The first particles that we're going to learn are ka and ne. And they're very similar, but slight difference I'm going to try and point out and make very clear to you guys. The first one is ka. Ka is pretty much just a verbal question mark. You just stick it at the end of a sentence and it will make it automatically a question. It can be a sentence that is just naturally a question, or it can be a statement that you're making into a question. Either way. So let's look at an example. This is anata wa wakaru ka. Okay? Well, if you remember from your vocab, anata means you. Okay? And wakaru means understand. Now, wa, if you remember from the first particle video, is marking your topic. So you are the topic of this sentence, and the ka, as we just learned, is a verbal question mark. So this reads, about you, understand question mark. So in English we would just say, do you understand? Let's do one more example. Kagi. Kagi, if you remember from the vocab, it means keys. Okay, so doko means where. Des means is. And then ka is our question mark. And wa, like we just said, marks the subject of the sentence, or the topic of the sentence. So, about the keys, where is question mark? Where are the keys? So, this is a really simple particle to use. It's also really helpful, and this sentence in particular will be particularly helpful because you could take out keys and put anything in this blank. Any noun could go here and you can ask where it is. So if I lay down my marker and lose it, oh my goodness, where did it go? Marker wa doko desu ka? Even if you don't know the Japanese word for that thing, you can put it in here and use it until you're able to expand your Japanese vocabulary. And I've done this a lot at home and at work as I was learning, and it's amazing the conversations that have started with people because they may not have understood wa doko desu ka, but they understood the first part, and they're like, what language are you speaking? You know, like, what are you looking for? I don't understand. And you can start up whole conversations that way. So this is a really good sentence, and it will help keep your mind on Japanese, even when you may not have time to study very much that week or that day. So let's look at ne. Ne is different from ka in that not only are you making a question, but you're asking the person you're talking to if they agree with you. Okay? So, this is our sentence. Hana ga kiri na desu ne. Okay? So, we're using ga here, and the thing is ga points out what is receiving the action of the verb. Okay? So, in this sentence, the verb, the thing that's being done in the sentence is pretty. Because Kirena means pretty and des means is. So what is pretty? This is hana, the flower. Not only is God pointing that out, but it puts a little bit of specificness on our noun, on our subject. It's not just saying flowers in general are pretty. It's saying this flower that we're talking about is pretty. Okay? So, basically this sentence says this flower is pretty. But then we've stuck ne on the end of it. So now we've made it into a question, but not just any question, a question that's begging agreement. So imagine you're walking through a garden and you're with your friend, and there's tulips over here and there's roses over here, and you're looking at the tulips and you say, "Hana ga kirei na desu ne?" And your friend looks at you and says, "Ie, no. I don't know the word for roses, so roses ga kirei ne desu." No, the roses are pretty. So you're asking them to agree with you, but they're saying, "No, I like the roses. I don't like the tulips." So a lot of times when you see desu ne, it's translated as isn't it? Okay? So, flower is pretty, isn't it? And, like I said, the ga adds specificness to it. So, this flower, you could even say. In fact, there's a word that you could put in front of here that you'll learn later that would make this sentence work even better. But, one thing at a time. This specific flower is pretty, isn't it? So I know this is a little bit more complicated than just the ka, but I hope you can understand the difference and understand how to translate this. We're going to go now and learn about two other particles, to and mo. Okay, so now we're going to do the particles to and mo. And as you can see, to means and, or you can think of it as like a slash or a comma. Okay, either one. Mo simply means also. So let's look at an example sentence. These are pretty cut and dry. This is Naruto and kun. If you remember from the vocabulary that we did, kun is like saying the boy, and to is our and or slash comma. So then we've got Sakura-chan, which if you remember from vocab, chan just means the girl. And then wa, because we're marking them as the topic of our sentence. So Naruto-kun and Sakura-chan, what about them? Well, dekinai. And dekinai means simply cannot do. So in English, you might want to add an it to the end of that sentence. But it's just basically like you're saying, Naruto, the boy, and Sakura, the girl, cannot do it. Okay? So you've got Naruto the boy and Sakura the girl cannot do it. Dekinai means cannot do. Mo simply means also. So this sentence says, Rock Lee, the boy, also cannot do it. So whatever it is that they're trying to do must be incredibly hard, because Naruto, Sakura, and Rock Lee all cannot do it. So you could, in fact, make another sentence that says, Naruto-kun to Sakura-chan to Rock Lee wa, or Rock Lee-kun wa dekinai. And between each person you would put the to, because you're making a list. It's like a comma or an and. If I were to say my brother Curtis and I and my friend Christina cannot do something, I would say Curtis Kun to Stina Chan, because even though she's older, we're like really super close and everything. So I would say Stina Chan to watashi wa dekinai. Basically, you just put to between each person, and watashi is obviously I, and then you gotta have the particle wa after it to indicate that they are the topic of your sentence, and then dekinai for cannot do it. So these are pretty straightforward, and mo being also allows you to separate it out and say, well, you know what, not only can they not do it, but this person also cannot do it. So if you were making your list and you forgot somebody, or if you wanted to separate them out because this person's like particularly skilled or powerful or whatever, to prove your point that this is like super hard to do because even this person can't do it, then you could separate it out and use mo. So now let's move on to the next two particles, which are de and ni. So now we're going to learn the particle de. And de simply means at. Okay? So let's look at our example sentences. This is a really simple example. Omae, which if you remember from your vocab, is the casual word for you, which you'll see a lot in anime used by males. And then Konoha, if you don't know this, is a village in the show Naruto. So this is just a name of a village. So you, Konoha, de, which means at. And then shinu is the verb for die. So, oh, and wa is the particle that means you're the topic of the sentence. So, you, Konoha, at, die. So basically, I'm a male antagonist character telling you that you're going to die at this village, Konoha. Another way that you will see it used, that is used in real life, is like this example sentence. This is the formal version of the verb to eat. And when verbs are in their natural state, whether it be formal like this one is, or casual like shinu is, but when they're in their natural state and nothing has been done to conjugate the verb, so no changes have been made to the end of it, then it is either present tense or future tense. So you could be saying eat as in like you're doing it right now, or you could be saying eat as in the future I am going to eat. But it would not be the past tense ate. You would have to change this ending here to get ate. So, Heiwa Shokudo is just a local, authentic, really good Japanese restaurant in my area. Okay? And then day is at. So, Heiwa Shokudo de tabemasu. So I'm saying at Heiwa Shokudo eat. Which means I'm either sitting there at a table right now at Heiwa Shokudo eating, and I am tweeting it out, letting everybody know where I'm at and how awesome it is, or I'm telling you that that's where I'm going to eat dinner tonight because you asked what I was doing for dinner, and I said, oh, well, I'm going to go eat at Heiwa Shokudo. So the way that this sentence would be interpreted would have to partially be based on the context of the conversation. It could technically mean either one. But the point of this is that day means at, and it is telling you where the verb's action is taking place. Well, it's taking place at Heiwa Shokudo, or it's taking place at the village Konoha. What's taking place? Eating is taking place. What's taking place? Dying is taking place. Where is it taking place? At is taking place here, at whatever is in front of the particle. Okay. Now I'm going to teach you the particle ni, which has a tendency to get mixed up with this particle. But if you just think about it as simply as I'm drawing this out, I think you'll be able to keep them straight. Okay, guys, so ni is a really simple particle. It means either in or to, and you can figure out which just based on the way that it's used in the sentence. So the first one of your examples is an example where it's used as in. Okay? If you remember from your vocab, sato means village. And then ni, in this example we said, is going to mean in. And then ikiru means to live. Okay. So village, in, live. Now this is one of the common Japanese sentences where your topic is not expressed. So we're going to assume that it's an implied I, because I am the one speaking. I, village, in, live. Or watashi wa sato ni ikiru. Watashi wa sato ni ikiru. Okay. That's your in sentence. Now a to sentence, and this sentence I think is going to be one you're really going to like and you will say a whole lot, because it means I want to go to Japan. So watashi, I, wa means the sentence is about you. Nihon, if you remember from your vocab, is Japan. And in this sentence, ni is used as a to. And ikitai is the verb to go, but it has been conjugated into a form that means to want to go. So, ikitai. Want to go. And exclamation point. Okay. I, to Japan, want to go. Watashi wa Nihon ni ikitai. There's also a word or a particle of sorts, a thing that you can put on the end of your sentences that will give it this exclamation point But the thing is there's actually several, and which one you use depends on all these different circumstances. So we're going to spend time on that later. But for now, you can just use voice inflection to get the exclamation part across, which shouldn't be hard with a sentence like this that you should be excited to say. So, watashi wa Nihon ni ikitai. Until next time, you guys. Bye-bye!